Kyle Larson's 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season has become one of the biggest mysteries in the garage, and Kevin Harvick is sounding the alarm. A driver once considered nearly unstoppable has now gone 44 consecutive races without a victory, creating a level of frustration and pressure that few expected from a superstar of Larson's caliber. While the Hendrick Motorsports driver remains near the top of the standings thanks to his incredible stage point production, Harvick believes the bigger issue is not the lack of wins, it is the way Larson is losing them. Speaking on his Happy Hour podcast, Harvick admitted that Larson's situation is difficult to understand. Statistically, Larson remains one of the strongest drivers in NASCAR, sitting 6th in points and leading the entire series in stage points. Yet despite those impressive numbers, something has been missing. According to Harvick, the gap between Larson's potential and his actual results has become impossible to ignore. For a driver expected to dominate races and compete for championships, simply collecting points is no longer enough. The former Cup champion's biggest concern is not Larson's speed, it is the mistakes. Harvick pointed to several recent incidents where Larson appeared to make uncharacteristic errors, including situations where he put himself in difficult positions or made aggressive moves that backfired. For a driver with Larson's experience and talent, those moments have raised eyebrows throughout the NASCAR community. Harvick believes those lapses in concentration are the real warning signs because a championship contender cannot afford repeated mistakes when opportunities are limited. The criticism has sparked debate among fans, with some defending Larson and others questioning whether the pressure is beginning to affect him. Supporters argue that Larson is still one of the most naturally gifted drivers in the sport, and that every superstar goes through difficult stretches. However, critics believe the expectations at Hendrick Motorsports are different. When a team has championship-level equipment and a driver with Larson's reputation, long winless streaks inevitably create uncomfortable questions. Harvick made it clear that he does not believe Larson's struggles represent the end of his elite career. He praised Larson's ability behind the wheel, his partnership with crew chief Cliff Daniels, and the overall strength of Hendrick Motorsports. But he also admitted that this season has fallen short of the incredibly high standard Larson has created for himself. The concern is not that Larson has lost his talent, it is whether the mounting pressure is causing mistakes that could continue costing him major victories. Now, the biggest question surrounding Kyle Larson is whether this is simply a temporary slump or a deeper problem developing inside NASCAR's most watched team. Is the winless streak creating frustration that is leading to more mistakes? The Brickyard 400 is entering a new and unpredictable era. And for the first time in decades, Indianapolis Motor Speedway has no clear king sitting on the throne. For years, the legendary oval belonged to a select group of NASCAR icons: Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, and Dale Jarrett drivers, who repeatedly conquered one of the sport's most prestigious events. Their dominance created an image of the Brickyard as a race controlled by legends. But that era has disappeared, and now the crown remains without a ruler. The current generation has completely changed the landscape. Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, and defending winner Bubba Wallace are the only active drivers entering this weekend with Brickyard 400 victories, and none of them have won the oval race more than once. The idea of an Indianapolis specialist, the driver everyone fears before the green flag even drops, has vanished. Instead, NASCAR fans are preparing for a battle where almost anyone with the right car, strategy, and a little luck could kiss the bricks and become the next surprise champion of the Brickyard. However, not everyone believes this new unpredictability is a positive development. Some former drivers and longtime NASCAR observers argue that the disappearance of dominant Indianapolis figures has taken away part of the race's identity. Critics believe the Brickyard was special because it rewarded greatness over time, allowing elite drivers to build a legacy through repeated victories. They argue that the modern version, with late cautions, fuel gambles, and overtime chaos, has turned one of NASCAR's crown jewels into a survival contest rather than a true test of superiority. The criticism has intensified because of how recent Brickyard races have unfolded. The driver who leads the most laps has won only a handful of recent editions, while dramatic late race restarts have often decided the outcome. Fuel strategy, weather interruptions, and unpredictable cautions have become defining factors. Some fans have questioned whether Indianapolis is still rewarding the best driver in the field, or simply the team that can survive NASCAR's late race chaos. Yet supporters of the modern Brickyard argue that this unpredictability is exactly what makes the event exciting again. The next-gen car has reshaped the competitive balance, making it harder for one organization to completely dominate. Kyle Larson's 2024 victory and Bubba Wallace's dramatic 2025 triumph showed that winning at Indianapolis still requires speed, discipline, and smart decision-making. The difference is that today's champions must now survive a wild final chapter rather than simply control the entire afternoon. As the 2026 Brickyard 400 approaches, the biggest question is whether a new Indianapolis king is about to emerge. Larson appears to have the strongest modern claim after finishing first and second in the last two next-gen oval races. A major debate is brewing across the NASCAR garage as reports suggest the Cup Series is preparing to bring back longer practice sessions, a move that many fans have celebrated, but one that is already drawing fierce criticism from within the sport. At the center of the controversy is Freddie Kraft, spotter for 23X racing star Bubba Wallace, who believes the proposed change could create an unintended consequence, making races less exciting. While NASCAR appears determined to give teams more track time, some insiders fear the decision could actually reduce the unpredictability that has fueled some of the season's most entertaining battles. According to reports, NASCAR is expected to replace the current split group format with a single 50-minute practice session featuring the entire field on track. Teams would also receive 2 sets of tires, giving them significantly more opportunities to fine-tune their cars before qualifying and race day. On the surface, the move sounds like a victory for fans and competitors alike. However, Kraft argues that the additional track time may allow teams to eliminate mistakes and close performance gaps so effectively that passing becomes increasingly difficult once the green flag drops. Using last weekend's Atlanta race as an example, Kraft pointed to the chaotic opening stages that occurred when teams arrived with limited preparation. Drivers struggled to find the perfect setup, resulting in varying speeds throughout the field and creating opportunities for overtakes. In his view, that unpredictability is exactly what makes NASCAR racing compelling. The more time teams spend dialing in their cars, the smaller the performance differences become, and the more difficult it is for drivers to gain an advantage on the racetrack. His comments have sparked a wider discussion about whether NASCAR should prioritize competitive parity or technical perfection. Critics of the proposed changes argue that modern teams already possess enormous amounts of simulation data and engineering resources. Giving them even more practice time could further narrow the competitive window, leading to races where track position becomes more important than wheel-to-wheel action. For fans craving aggressive racing and dramatic comebacks, that possibility is raising serious concerns. Supporters of the change, however, see a completely different picture. They argue that longer practice sessions could provide a lifeline for smaller and mid-tier organizations that lack the advanced simulation tools available to powerhouse teams. With more time on track, underfunded teams would have a better opportunity to understand changing conditions, improve their setups, and potentially close the gap to the sport's elite. Ironically, a rule designed to level the playing field may end up benefiting the very teams NASCAR is trying to help. As NASCAR remains silent on the reported proposal, the controversy continues to grow.